Well, we figured we'd kick off our reviews of all the... Don't drink yet. We figured we'd kick off our reviews of all the Harry Potter movies leading up to the new Fantastic Beasts movie with a toast and some butterbeer.
Oh, I didn't know we were toasting.
We're toasting. That's apple juice. Welcome to Durbania. I'm Durbin.
I'm Laura.
And this is our retro review for Harry Potter and the Sorcerer's Stone. Spoilers ahead, which, I don't know, by this point, hopefully you've all read it or seen it, so there really shouldn't be any spoilers.
Yes, I would hope not. It's almost 20 years old.
So I'm super excited to review this with my wife, who is the biggest Harry Potter fan
Not the biggest, but a huge Harry Potter fan. The biggest fan that he knows.
No,
but
what I said
some of you
was
out there.
sound and the logic was good.
Okay, I've seen way more intense fans.
Right. See, my history with this...
I'm not the most intense fan. We'll go that route.
My history with this is I was not the biggest fan. I watched the third one first, saw them all out of order, had no idea what was going on until I met her. And when we first started dating, I had to read the first 7 books, and they were all good except for the 5th one.
He had to be caught up with me because I wanted to talk about them.
Yeah, so I read all 7 books.
And I was going to watch them on opening night, and he was going to come with me and know what was going on.
And then I saw the 7 movies in order, and it's like, my gosh, this world makes sense, and it's awesome. And you are a huge fan.
Yes, huge fan of the books. I mean, how I first came to the books is I had a friend in college, and she had not seen Lord of the Rings, and I loved those movies, and so we made a fair exchange, because there's only 3 Harry Potter movies out at the time. We would watch 3 Lord of the Rings movies, and then we would watch the 3 Harry Potter movies. And I will tell you, there's something about that 3rd movie that just made me go, yep, I gotta read this whole series. And so I went to the bookstore that night and bought the first book, and the rest is history. I just fell in love with the book.
You even have the British books. You just went out and got the ones from the UK. Is this like what edition is this?
Well, I wanted all first editions. But as many of you know, the first edition of the Sorcerer's Stone costs like $40,000, so that's not going to happen. Because there's so few of them, because they were only library books at first, and so there's only a handful of them because they were destroyed. So it is a first edition printing, but it's like the 23rd printing of the first edition. So crazy, right? I wish I had one of those original ones. That'd be awesome. But I have first editions of 3 through 7, and then the second is an early edition of that.
I need to write a young adult novel. I'm telling you what.
I know.
Gosh. Anyway, so we just recently watched the first Harry Potter movie to get it fresh in our minds, and we're going to watch them all building up to the release of the brand new one. And watching it back this time through, it's a fantastic movie. It's so freaking long.
It's not.
No, it's not Lord of the Rings long, but while I was watching it, I was simultaneously having a blast and enjoying it, and I was like, wow, it's, we're only halfway through?
I remember when you did that.
This thing is still going, and what's sad about that is, I think in terms of adapting something from a book, this is one of the best adaptations I've ever seen. It is so close to the book. It's incredible. So to shorten it, I think would compromise that. So I would hate to have it shortened. So I hate that that's a negative, but it's not like a strong negative because it's a great movie. It's just, I couldn't help but feel it this time around when I was watching it. It's like, wow, this is long.
Well, so it's funny because the first time I watched the movie, I had not read the books. I had no experience with Harry Potter. And I remember thinking, this is long and slow. But I think part of the reason, now that I've read the book, it made me fall in love with the movie because of how great of an adaptation it is. But I think the reason it's kind of feels like that is because it's children actors, that they're still, I mean, they did very well for their first movie.
Yeah, they did.
But, you could see some of how they're a kid actor in a lot of the places. And I think it's just, there's something about the charisma in that. It's just they couldn't carry a 2.5 hour or 2 hour 20-minute movie as well as some main actors that we know. So it's like it didn't have the action to keep it in place, but that's because it was the first book. They were only 11. It was supposed to be light, and so that's how I feel about it, and I think that's why it felt kind of slow.
Yeah, but beyond that, I can't think of any other negative, and that's just a small negative to me because it was just a feeling I had while watching it. Overall, It's a fantastic movie, and I deeply love, enjoy, and respect how incredibly close it is to the book.
Yeah, it's probably, to me, one of the, well, no, some of the, like, book 7's a pretty good adaptation, too.
Yeah.
But, I mean, I remember when it was after, like, book 5, I just went, the best adaptation still to that point was 1. So.
Yeah, it's a great adaptation.
Good
And you
old
were talking
Sorcerer's
about
Stone.
the children actors. I have to say, like, yeah, they were kind of finding their path and finding their characters as you drink your apple juice butterbeer. They were finding their characters and stuff in that first one, but you can see why Daniel Radcliffe was just the perfect choice for Harry Potter in that first one.
Definitely. And Emma Watson is Hermione.
I'm Hermione Granger. And you are?
Ron Weasley.
Pleasure.
I felt like all the kids were so perfectly casted.
Yes, especially the main 3 were perfectly casted because the whole movie focused on them. But yeah, no, Seamus was great, and like all of them were just fantastic. But like Daniel Radcliffe, the reason I pointed him out was because he has that perfect mix of sometimes he gives that look of perfect childlike innocence, and then other times, like when the glass disappears on the snake pin and Dudley falls through, he just is laughing at Dudley in that look of mischief. So it's like he's got that perfect mixture, which is Harry Potter, because Harry Potter is that innocent kid who wants to obey the rules, and then he breaks every dang rule on that castle and gets rewarded for doing it instead of punished. So it's like fascinating.
Do you think you would be like Harry?
No.
Oh.
No, I would be Seamus because he made everything blow up in his face.
I, a rabbit, harping home. Turn this water into rum.
He does it in the books, but yeah, in the movie.
Yeah, no, and the movie just perfectly represents that would be me if I was there.
I hate it, but I would probably be Hermione in book 1, because I am a stickler for rules.
I'm going to bed before either of you come up with another clever idea to get us killed. Or worse, expelled.
She needs to sort out her priorities.
Hermione's awesome, so I don't care. I would be happy to be her.
So the whole casting of that is absolutely perfect, but every time I watch it, there's certain things about the wizarding world that I marvel about. For instance, in our world, the Muggle world, we are just so absolutely concerned with giving everybody little bit of participation trophies so we don't hurt their self-esteem. But then in this thing, I mean, my gosh, if you got detention, you're going to the forbidden dark forest with creatures that will eat you. Whatever. It's forbidden and it's dark. So you send them to the forbidden forest where there's things that will eat you. There's a deadly thing drinking unicorn blood, and they send the kids as a detention to go hunt down the unicorn bloodsucker. Are you kidding me? I mean, they have a sport. They're one sport. And you have Oliver Wood, who talked about the first time he played, he was in a coma for a week because a booger smacked him in the side of the head.
Do you mean a bludger?
A bludger smacked him in the side of the head. And it's like, the wizarding world does not believe in coddling. And I have to say, that's like a strong positive. Because it's like, it's scary to me how deadly every turn in this world is.
The third floor corridor is out of bounds to everyone who does not wish to suffer a most painful death.
Yep.
So when we get to see them play their first ever Quidditch game, it was kind of interesting because, Harry gets cursed and, they're trying, Professor Quill is trying to...
Quirrell.
Dang it! I need more butterbeer.
Take 2!
So you have Professor Quirrell, who is like cursing Harry's broom, and then you have Snape, who's running the counter curse. And
Except for they don't know that.
Yeah, they don't know that, and they think Snape's the one cursing him. And I know that in the book, Dumbledore was not there in the stands, so the entire scene makes sense in the book.
Yes.
But in the movie, it makes no sense because Dumbledore is in the stands. So you would think Dumbledore would be like, counter curse over.
I mean, why didn't he do it? I mean, so in the book, he wasn't there. So the curse going on, nobody saw what was going on and didn't know who was doing it except for them. And, Hermione lit him on fire, just like in the movie.
Yeah.
But it was the second game when Snape was being the Quidditch referee. And when Harry saw that Dumbledore was in the stands, he's like, oh, I'm fine. Nobody's going to curse me in front of Dumbledore because nobody would be stupid enough. But then I'm like, duh. Why would they show him in the first match? Because that was a huge point in the second one. That just irritated me.
Yeah. Anyway, so it's just one of those interesting things. It's like, okay, so we just had to have Dumbledore do nothing because he did nothing in the book, but it's a major point for all the cast, so we do got to have Dumbledore.
Yeah.
It's kind of interesting,
Yes,
but...
and he is the Dumbledore. I know there's...
gosh.
It was really a sad loss when he passed away.
It really was.
Because he was perfect. He had the twinkle in the eye. He had everything that you pictured in a Dumbledore. And the guy who replaced him in the third one, I mean, he's not bad.
He grew into it.
By
the time he died.
Especially in the fourth one, that's not how Dumbledore would act.
But we'll get to that when we get to the fourth one.
Movies.
But I totally agree with you. This Dumbledore and this first and second Harry Potter, this was the Dumbledore. I mean, he had the confidence, the calm, the collectedness. He had everything.
And that, like, jovial jokester type underneath it all. He was perfect.
Yes.
A lot. Earwax.
It's everything that I pictured Dumbledore to be in the book. And now, granted, I saw the movies first, but still, there's a certain picture you get of Dumbledore when you read the book. And that guy who played him in the first two movies perfectly embodied it. And it was so sad when he passed away. And it's not that the other guy was bad, but he really needed to grow into it. And some of his interpretation versus what was in those books, I did not agree with. And so it was kind of, but we'll dive more into that later. But the one thing that also I thought was kind of funny, this sounds like I'm hitting all the negatives of the movie, but seriously, the movie's so fun, and I loved it. But this is just one thing that kind of made me laugh. At the very end, for all of us Harry Potter fans, it sucks to see Gryffindor in last place for the House Cup. And it's fantastic when Dumbledore stands up there and he awards the last minute points that throws Dumbledore into first place.
Not Dumbledore, Gryffindor.
Gryffindor into first place, but... the thing that bugs me about it is he should have taken those points into account already at the beginning. That way,
before they already had the colors up.
Yes, because like, how unfair is it? You go in there, Slytherin is the winner. You're the winner. But you know what?
No.
We're gonna go ahead and strip that away because 3 disobedient children put their lives in mortal danger by ignoring every boundary and rule that we set. It felt kind of unfair to every other house.
Honestly, I thought that even when reading the book.
Yeah.
But that's me. Maybe as a kid, I'd probably be like, yeah, that rocks. But I felt kind of bad, even though I don't like all Slytherins. Some are pretty cool. But that was a frustrating part for me,
That
too.
was a little frustrating.
But I mean, they could have rewarded it before they went into the house.
Really could have.
And
yes.
they could have had him tied and then given Neville the points at the feast. Like I said, perfectly casted.
Yes.
Really well done. And all of them grew into their roles for the kids.
Oh,
and the adults were like perfect, spot on.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, it was, I don't know. Overall, I really enjoy Harry Potter and the Sorcerer's Stone. I'm going to avoid giving it a letter grade because when we're all done, we're going to rank these movies worst to best, including the first Fantastic Beasts movie.
And we're going to review all of these movies up until the second Fantastic Beasts movie comes out.
And so I kind of wanted to kind of hold back on what my final rating is because she and I probably have different opinions on that, and it might be in different places in our ranking list, so let's just wait until we get to that ranking, but know that I do love the first Harry Potter movie. It may not be my favorite in the franchise, but it is a fantastic movie.
It's a great movie to watch.
It is a great adaptation from book to screen, one of the best I've seen. Even if it feels a little bit long to me, I still completely respect what it is.
They could have made it longer if they wanted to.
It could have been longer, and they did a great job with it. So overall, I really liked it, and it's a strong beginning to Harry Potter.
Yeah, I agree.
So what are your opinions of the first book and the first movie? Do you like it? Let's talk about it in the comments. Are you excited for Fantastic Beasts, The Crimes of Grindelwald? Did I say his name right?
Grindelwald.
So let's talk about that in the comments below. While you're there, hit the subscribe button to become a Durbanian. Hit the bell by the subscribe button so you'll be notified the next time we do a Harry Potter review or anything else on this channel. I'm Durbin.
I'm Laura.
Thanks for checking out Durbania.